This is you.
February 25th, 12:06. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 2. Stay away from me, mad crowd.
I can imagine these people. Oh, you suck! Oh, throwing like rotten eggs. Crucify him! Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble.
Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals.
When is he not? When are you not?
Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Oh, that's a gum show! What is it?
No, now it's
I was
just
gonna
dumb
yell
shit.
at you again. Just like
You
last
got
time.
some nerve, pal! Making Detective Warner all while when on duty.
What a...
He's on duty, he's been fired, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And on top of all you called me here, I've seen happy old people at funerals.
Did
See
you?
this exact same line last time?
Yeah.
I take it Landon's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. I think he's fired.
He is.
Here. She asked me to give you this to do as a break in today's trial. Is that a little kid's book?
Probably.
Again?
Evidence law. Ezra was talking about this the other day.
You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department.
Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so.
You could at least study some evidence law, really. Illy.
The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a massage. A massage? She said, if you know you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him? Captain Pepper Thrills? Guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Security safety in your pocket?
Huh. Interesting.
Doesn't look like that book doing good now, though.
I guess she's fighting against
Actually,
the controller.
what's it say? What's the book say? Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case and trial. Okay. I think Von Cartman said about evidence law, didn't he? All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective! Huh? Oh. Huh?
Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat. Despite all these allegations being thrown at me.
Mr. Edgeworth,
The real trial today hasn't begun yet.
we've been going half an hour for no reason then.
You bet.
What? What are they left to do? Your credibility's been all ruined with your false evidence that you are unaware of. Whoop whoop. Emma Sky found out she's unwillingly caused a man's death. And now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal! You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Redmond. She really stuck the knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. February 25th, 2:52 p.m. I guess. Didn't feel like that's putting it in this one, I guess. District Court, courtroom number 9. Alright, you got a tight dick. Shut up! The court will now reconvene for the trial of this last guy. Mr. Edgeworth,
Yes, Your Honor.
do you really have a tiny dick? I mean,
Yes, Your Honor.
The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you for the news, Your Honor.
Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls for the witness. But, this isn't easy to say. I have a tiny dick too. You see, there is some concern for that Mr. Edwards may have
Struck a bargain.
Ah,
You think I may have manipulated the witnesses?
I didn't say that! Just, you see, everyone's been talking.
Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution.
Oh, Zalus.
That being the case,
My phone went off, which else has to be a favorite ringtone.
did you see an objection?
Both going off as me trying. Wait, we say it? Wait, repeat your line again.
Did you call an objection?
No, say it.
That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses.
Ooh. What? There's never been a case but there's never been a case example.
Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses.
Well, Mr. Riggett, what do you say? Unbelievable. It was just found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. That's not the only proposal I hope to accept from him. Then it's settled. The defense may now call this witness.
Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance, and so forth. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over.
The defense calls. The time finally come to bring out the real murderer, Mike Meekins. Oh, I think we're gonna go for Gant. We're going for Gant. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? Me and Gant are friends.
We're so canceled.
As a defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant had first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it.
As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor?
True. He's probably out there in the courtroom swimming pool.
Yeah.
All right, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. This is it. This feels like the final boss fight.
I know, right?
We finally got the real murderer.
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
What is it? Some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch.
Your name and occupation, sir.
He always seems like he has trouble getting people to say their name and occupation.
Uh-huh.
What are they? Your name's Worthy? My name's Worthy. Are you sure you want to do this?
Your name and occupation.
He always is like this. Like a lot of his earlier cases, people just kept talking. It's like, name and occupation, please. Ah, this is fine. It's a courtroom. Name and occupation! Murder! So, you want to play a hardball, eh? Oh, please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requires to hear your testimony. Oh, righto! What's with the grim face? It's like I killed somebody, but totally didn't. First, let's clear up this SO9 incident.
You know what I just realized?
What?
The theme of this case is, it seems like the guilty people are wearing pink glasses.
I'm pretty in pink. You know who else was wearing pink? Reed White. Unless you watch the movie, then he's wearing all black and black everything, and he was like El Scupo's fat uncle. Oh, you mean the time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor?
That's nice.
I love how he just says it out of nowhere, even though we just freaking took an hour and a half to prove it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I think we proved this. And it's like, oh, you mean that time when that happened? Yes. Personally, I think it's been pretty clear already. There's still some things unaccounted for. Oh? Like what? Like the role you played in all this.
Alright.
Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. I'm saying, frickin' if I had a dime for every time I heard that line in like a video game
Right.
or like a movie where like the final boss says something like that, it's like, frickin' that's a really common line. That's a really cool line though. Foolish. Pretty foolish, actually. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Is that supposed to be a threat?
Yeah, right.
Weapons?
Sounds like one.
Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to.
That's nice.
What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief police has the right to refuse to testify.
Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks.
Oh, hold up! Like that pretty quick, like, oh, don't worry! I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. Witness testimony. I will say one thing real quick. Damon Gant is like my favorite villain in all of Phoenix Wright. Like, because at first you think he's like just the coolest dude in the world. Like, he's on your side. He actually likes you over like Edgeworth.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, he's totally this cool dude. But then once you actually get to like the core of it and know what he really did, he's like really threatening and like really scary. Because normally like all the villains are like really obvious. Like, yeah, that totally killed him. Like the first case, like the first through third case, actually all the cases for the most part are pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I say D. Vasquez a little less obvious. But she looked kind of suspicious looking.
Exactly.
When she brings out mafia guys to try to kill you, that's a little obvious.
Turning point, in my opinion.
Yeah. But I know, this guy seemed so nice normally. It's like, oh, crap. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. The power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can say, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Actually, is that when Dark was arrested? Him. He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seemed Dark had bumped his head. I love how like a 14-year-old girl can send like a 30-year-old like cowboy prosecutor flying into a statue. Just push him. Stab. Actually, that kind of reminds me of the third case. Remember? She pushed him into the fence?
Yeah.
Actually, how old?
Yeah.
Did it say how old Neil Marshall was?
It did.
Oh, he's age deceased. So is he. Age deceased. Okay. Mike Meekins. I miss Mike Meekins. I hope he comes back. I hope he was the real murderer in all this. I have a demoted dude.
What if he's the one who's actually controlling Gant?
Ooh. I see. Everything seems pretty clear cut. Get it? Cut, knife, murder. Pretty good. I'm here all week. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, that better hit him hard and fast. That's what she said. Cross-examined. Okay, let's just start pressing it. Hold it. As I recall, a ceremony was held in the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. Even though I don't drink a lot of workahol. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Doc and made him run away like that. I can stretch you here.
Was the defendant Lana Sky also present in the room?
My sandals are backwards. I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Doc ran for it. To make a long story short. It seems like whenever someone says a line to make a long story short, it just makes the story longer.
Uh-huh.
So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Doc made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky! You mean the Daft Punk song? I'm up all night to get lucky. I'm up all night to get lucky.
Was this about a power outage?
Oh, that! We never paid electricity. Oh. The elevator stopped all of a sudden. And I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil when that knife went through his heart, though. I love he's like the nicest guy, but he's like the darkest humor. He's probably not as shocked as when this man died. I was pretty surprised. But not surprised as someone who got stabbed in the chest and murdered in cold blood. That's terrible. That's not funny. Even Phoenix Wright. That's not funny. Could you tell us what you saw? Downvotes. I can sense the downvotes. It was a shocking sight. He's doing a lot of shocking. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Like a yowie. Like a yowie. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor? Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Clever. Next to them were those two poor girls. Lana and Emma. No, Mia and Maya. Who else? Lana was cradling Emma in her arms, like a Yuri. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Hold it! How can you know that? Because of the victim's body, it had already been moved.
So that means you found the body near Lana's desk.
That's right. If you can, I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Well, he had to do with the forgery because all the stuff was in his safe.
Yeah.
It was his safe, not Lana's safe. And we can't prove that though. We basically broke into his safe and stole his stuff. You were saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence is unexcusable, no matter what the circumstances. Is that all that really went down?
Staring at the witness won't do any good, Mr. Wright.
But he looks so beautiful. Ah.
If you're going to stare at anything, stare at me. You'd better be off staring at the court record.
Or Emma.
Oh yeah, well that's my job.
Were they? Always the smooth talker. I love after you said that. If you look at anything, stare at me. He's like, oh, you're the smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. No, I've got to link Gant to the incident. Okay, so we press everything. And then do the forgery. All I can think of is the stuff in his thing, but we can't prove that he had it. That's the only problem. Because the problem is, we just got the evidence law book. And it says that we can't be shown without approval of the police department.
But it also says must be relevant.
I know, but that's follow both rules. And we don't have proof. We don't have any, like, recognition or approval.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I'm gonna look it through here so we can actually present something that we don't want to. Yeah, it says found in Gant's safe. Same with this. Yeah. Yeah, found Gant. Maybe we can try to pin the fact that he was trying. But he wouldn't care if Emma was tried for murder. We can try to say that he was trying to cover up the fact that Emma stabbed the guy.
Yeah, because that's probably why.
Because they never said that Lana did. Well, he's saying that Lana did it.
That's probably why he's trying Lana now, because she's doing whatever she can to cover up his mess so that he can cover up Emma.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just a blackmail he's pulling on her.
So I'm gonna see. Maybe we can try to pin the unstable jar on him, or the fact that he blurred it. And it says, yeah, the final fragment was in his thing. Well, the rest of it wasn't.
Then you're gonna say, what were you doing in my safe?
Or maybe we can say that or maybe we can just not tell him about the final piece, but the fact that maybe he was trying to blur the thing.
Well, maybe it was Lana that wiped it away.
Yeah, but right now we're trying to prove that he did it. No fragment.
Well, but I think it probably was Lana that did it.
Yeah. Well, that's the only exact thing that really proves that he forged something. Because you can't really, like, the piece that's not really forged, he just took it.
Unless he forged the sword.
Well, yeah.
That's a little farther of a stretch, I guess.
Yeah, it's just, there's no real thing that really shows that he forged it. Okay, the jar was found in this thing. I'm either thinking the jar or the strip of cloth. What I'm gonna do is well, we have 5 exclamation points still. I'm gonna do the jar. Usually if the game was smart, it would probably count either or, because they're both in a save.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try this one. If we screw up, I'm gonna try to go for either the jar or the knife. Let's see. Go for it. Objection!